CBS News 24/7 continues to follow the fallout of President-elect Donald Trump's pick, Pete Hegseth. Hegseth on Capitol Hill today, meeting with Republicans, still going forward as if he is going to go into confirmation hearings. We just got this in a conversation he had with reporters. Listen.
In the Senate today, I had a chance to talk to Leader Thune. You know, our founders are brilliant in this process of advising consent. It's been edifying and a wonderful process to go through and meet with senators and talk to them, especially members of the Senate Armed Services Committee, whose passion is the Defense Department, and our warfighters, to hear what they want to do to make sure that department is properly oriented for the threats of the world and make sure that we're putting the warfighters first. That's what Donald Trump asked me to do. Your job is to bring a warfighting ethos back to the Pentagon. Your job is to make sure that it's lethality, lethality, lethality. Everything else is gone. Everything else that distracts from that shouldn't be happening. That's the message I'm hearing from senators in that advising consent process. It's been a wonderful process. As far as everything else, I had a chance to sit down with Megyn Kelly today for an hour. I refer you to that interview. She asked probably all the questions you guys would like to ask.
Political reporter Megan Messerly is on the Hill. She joins us now. Megan, a lot to cover there today, but I want to start with what you heard Mr. Hegseth say. He's quoting lawmakers that he's been meeting with behind closed doors as seeing this as a distraction. Do you think that characterization is shared across Washington, D.C.?
I think there's maybe a little bit more nuance going on there. I mean, we've seen this sort of very interesting trajectory play out over the course of Pete Hegseth's pick, and then now to where we are with him meeting with folks on Capitol Hill. Pretty shortly after he was picked, we heard some of these allegations come out about, some of his behavior with women. Now there have been allegations about, his drinking behavior as well. And as we've seen more of that come out, I think we've heard more concerns from Republican senators. And of course, the problem there is, they can only afford to lose so many GOP votes in the Senate for Hegseth to be confirmed. And so that's what we're seeing now is him do this tour of Capitol Hill to try to meet with folks one-on-one who have serious reservations, folks like Senator Joni Ernst, who's expected to be a key vote. But the big question is, will he be able to allay those concerns in these meetings? And he's telegraphing positivity so far. He said he's staying in it, but whether he will remains to be seen. That is ultimately up to him and to the president-elect himself.
Megan, we know you've covered politics for a long time. In battleground state Nevada, you have seen rough and tumble in the halls of legislative bodies. Hegseth, and this news broke here on CBS 24/7 within the last hour, word that he canceled a meeting with Senator Josh Hawley. How do you read that? Because Josh Hawley is a friendly to Hegseth.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so much reading of the tea leaves right now. I think a couple ways to look at that. One, if he decides his time needs to be better spent elsewhere, if he doesn't need to convince Senator Hawley of anything, that's one possible read. We know that he's really trying to make the most of his time on Capitol Hill today. We've even seen him, as we saw in that clip, and as he alluded to with his interview with Megyn Kelly, he's actually been doing media, which in of itself is remarkable for a cabinet pick because folks have generally been staying out of the spotlight. They've been asked to not do media until they are confirmed or otherwise given permission to. And so I think the fact that you see him out here publicly sort of shows the tenuous position that he's in right now. And this is sort of the make or break of whether he can, get enough folks back on board to be able to make it through the confirmation process.
Well, Senator Richard Blumenthal says that he'd be surprised if we were still talking about Pete Hegseth come Monday. Is that the overall feeling you're getting from lawmakers like Mr. Blumenthal on his side of the aisle?
Yeah, I think that is the overall sentiment. I mean, just as we've seen the number of allegations and stories come out, it does kind of feel like the snowball effect right now. Again, of course, anyone who is trying to predict the future or what President-elect Trump is going to do knows that they have been surprised time and time again. So I don't think anyone knows for sure, but it certainly seems like things are heading in that direction, which is why you've heard more speculation around if it's not Pete Hegseth, who could it be? Would it be Ron DeSantis? Would it be Joni Ernst? Would it be someone else? The fact that all these names are swirling around right now is just a sign of the precariousness of this position.
Megan Messerly, thank you so much. Always great to have a conversation with you here on CBS News 24/7.